video din siya. Then,
certificate of recognition, and then after nun, photo op, of course, tapos direction ng closing remarks. Tapos sabay yan. And then photo op.
Good morning, everyone. We will be starting shortly, so please find your seats and make yourselves comfortable. Before we begin, we would like to remind everyone that today's International Women's Day celebration is being live streamed on UMak YouTube page, allowing more people to join us in this special event. Good morning, everyone. We will To officially begin, let us stand for an invocation to be held by Miss Caroline Balsamo and students under the program of Inclusive Education that will be followed by the National Anthem, Makati March, and University of Makati Hymn.
Good morning. As we prepare our hearts for prayer, let us take a moment to embrace the beauty of inclusivity and diversity in our community. Today, we are reminded that no matter our differences, whether in ability, background, or journey, we are all united in faith and hope. The song God Will Make a Way holds a powerful message that even in the most challenging times, there is always a path forward, a light guiding us through. This moment is made even more meaningful as our students from the Inclusive Education, Gender, and Development interpret this song in sign language. Their presence reminds us that inclusion is not just about being present, it is about being seen, heard, and valued. As we listen and reflect, may we open our hearts to the message of hope and the commitment to build a community where everyone belongs.
God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, he'll lead me. Rivers in the desert will I see. Heaven and earth will fade, but his word will still remain. And he will do something new today. Oh, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. He works in ways we cannot see. He will make a way for me. He will be my guide, hold me closely to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. By a roadway in the wilderness, you lead me. Rivers in the desert will I see. Heaven and earth will fade, but his word will to his side. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way. With love and strength for each new day, he will make a way. He will make a way.
Bayang magiliw, pelas ang silanganan, alam ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupit, di ka pasisingin. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mo maghaw, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na naglilingling, ang bituin at araw na kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw na buwan, hadit pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Pagmamahal sa Makati, bayan na pinagpala. Tahanan ng mga manlalaya na may pagtingin sa bansa. Iwan puso nga namin sa Makati ibibigay. Bawing isip tayo, nagulog nga natin ang magandang simularin, ang magpapaulang ng bayan. O Makati na aming mahal, galang mo'y itatanghal. O Makati, mahalin natin ito. Nagbibisig tayo, nagulog nga natin ang magandang simularin, ang magpapaulan ng bayan. O Makati na aming mahal, galang mo'y itatanghal. O Makati, mahalin natin ito.
We cheer to the alma mater, University of Makati. Rejoice, we're here onward marching, be it shine, storm, cloud, or rain. Let all our voices keep ringing for the glory of our alma mater, pride of Makati and our fatherland. Beloved UMak proudly stands. Arise, thy sons and daughters, fill the air with the joy of alma mater. Resound our gladness and tidings, every echo by far and near. Yes, we are here, beloved UMak. Faithfully we brace our mind and spirit. We're proud to be at thy command, future builders of this land. Arise, thy sons and daughters, fill the air with the joy of alma mater. Resound our gladness and tidings, every echo by far and near.
If today or near beloved UMak, faithfully we raise our mind and spirit, we're proud to be at thy command, future builders of this land. University of Makati, future builder of this land.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated. Special thanks as well to our volunteer interpreter, Mr. Ray De Guzman. Good morning, everyone. On behalf of the City Government of Makati, I would like to welcome you all to the celebration of International Women's Day. Today, we come together to celebrate the resilience, achievements, and contributions of women in every field, in business, education, governance, the arts, and beyond. We also acknowledge the ongoing journey towards gender equality, inclusivity, and empowerment. This year's theme, Babae sa lahat ng sektor, aangat ang bukas sa bagong Pilipinas. This underscores the vital role of women in nation building across all fields, reinforcing their contribution to shaping a progressive and inclusive bagong Pilipinas. A special welcome as well to our online audience watching live on UMak YouTube page. We encourage you to share your thoughts, questions, and messages in the comment section, as well as to our live audience. If you have questions, you may ask it later on our Q&A segment. I am Gian Ramirez from the International Relations Department of the City Government of Makati, and I am honored to be your host for today's event. We are privileged to have with us today several distinguished guests. Please join me in welcoming Embassy of the Commonwealth of Australia, from Embassy of Kingdom of Belgium, from Embassy of United Mexican States, from the Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency, University of Makati officials, City Government officials. Thank you all for being with us today. We also would like to extend our gratitude to the University of Makati for providing a venue for this noteworthy endeavor. Thank you. To formally welcome us, we have with us the Vice President for Administration of the University of Makati, who advocates for women's empowerment through law, education, and public service. As UMak's Vice President for Administration, she promotes gender equality in governance, policy, and community initiatives, inspiring future leaders. Let's give a warm round of applause to Attorney Joel Bulls.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Good morning to our guest. Before I deliver my welcome message, can you just tap the right shoulder of the person behind you and you say, "You're the most beautiful and resilient creation of God on earth." I wanted to become gender inclusive because there are males here in the audience. I would have thought, you are the most beautiful and resilient women on earth. But I saw in the audience there are males as are part of the audience, so let's be gender inclusive. Good morning, everyone. A pleasant day to all who are here today. Our guests from the Embassy of the Commonwealth of Australia, Embassy of the Kingdom of Belgium, the Embassy of the United Mexican States, the Royal Thai Embassy, Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordination Agency, employees and students of the University of Makati, the officials of the city government of Makati. May I just mention the offices? Alan is from International Relations Department, and his team are Makati Social Welfare Development, Ma'am Joyce. And may I also acknowledge our Office of the Vice President for Student Services. Ma'am Carol will be giving updates on what we are doing here in the university later on. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to celebrate the International Women's Day. For the information of our guest, our University of Makati, as you have seen the facilities now, is all provided by the City of Makati. We are fully funded by the City of Makati. We are locally funded university. So all our monies, all our infrastructures came from the City of Makati. As of today, I think our budget next year or to next, I think today, 2025, is more than 1 billion pesos. The City of Makati provides everything for us. So this is a day to honor, to reflect, and to celebrate the indomitable spirit and extraordinary contributions of every woman throughout history up to the present day. Historically, women, as in the Philippines, we are patriarchal, were often confined to homes, their dreams and ambitions overshadowed by those of men. No offense to you, sir. Women often lacked a voice because they were perceived as inferior to men. This perception was due to historical and societal factors. However, over the years, our society has evolved, embracing gender equality. Now, women are recognized as equal to men and hold positions previously reserved for men. There are countless stories around the world about women that can testify how strong we are and how it affects society to see us nowadays. The uniqueness of each story reflects the individuality of every woman. In the University of Makati, we adhere to a zero tolerance for sexual harassment, being amended by Safe Spaces Act, and we have zero tolerance on violation against women and children. Every time we have a case, I've handled cases in the University of Makati of sexual harassment. We do the due process, we have to do the hearings and proceedings, legal proceedings, but it's always zero tolerance because I always tell everyone that the University of Makati and even other universities are the wet market for sexual harassment. There are a lot, I would have talk in Tagalog. There are a lot of women here, females that are being subjected to abuse of power. So, in the University of Makati, for the information of our students, we do zero tolerance. It's really, we really don't like it. We are not confined to the traditional roles of homemakers. Our potential extends far beyond those boundaries. We are destined to be leaders, you women, innovators, and pioneers. We are lawyers now, we are engineers, we are doctors, we are firefighters, we are soldiers and software developers. While these professions have historically been male-dominated, we possess the capability to excel and lead within them, which is being strengthened by SDG 5, the gender equality. We, our students and employees, claim our dreams as our own. We no longer seek permission to define our paths, for we are empowered to make our own decisions. Women, especially our students now, are increasingly being recognized for their remarkable contributions across all fields, including those where men have traditionally held sway. We are breaking barriers, shattering stereotypes, and proving that talent and determination know no gender. We are here. We are here. We are capable and we are making our mark. Once again, welcome to today's event. Have a pleasant day, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the season. Mabuhay po.
Thank you, attorney, for that wonderful welcome. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we recognize the invaluable contributions of women in shaping our communities and our future. Our city has always championed gender equality, and we are honored to have a leader who continuously supports and uplifts women. At this moment, let us listen to a special message from our Honorable Mayor, Mayor Marlon Abigail Binay Campos.
Good day to all. It is my honor to welcome the esteemed ambassadors and officials from the Embassy of Australia, the Embassy of Belgium, the Embassy of the United Mexican States, and the Royal Thai Embassy. Thank you for joining us in advancing Sustainable Development Goal 5, Gender Equality and Women's Empowerment. Today we celebrate the achievements of women worldwide. This year's theme, Accelerate Action, call on us to strengthen efforts that create real opportunities for women. In Makati, we have long prioritized programs that equip women with skills, resources, and opportunities for success. I would like to assure everyone of my full commitment to gender equality. We continue to break barriers so that women have equal access to education, healthcare, economic opportunities, and leadership roles. When women thrive, communities prosper. I look forward to working together to create more opportunities for Filipino women. Maraming salamat at mabuhay ang kababaihan.
Thank you, Your Honorable Mayor, for your inspiring words and unwavering support for women empowerment and gender equality. Truly, your leadership drives positive change, and we deeply appreciate your commitment to equality and inclusivity. Gender equality isn't just a goal. It's the key to a more inclusive, just, and thriving society. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from selected diplomatic missions as they share real-world best practices in advancing sustainable development goal number 5, which is to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. Their efforts have made a meaningful impact, and we're eager to learn from their insights and experiences. It is my honor to introduce our first esteemed speaker, the Deputy Ambassador of the Embassy of Australia. She is a Senior Career Officer with the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade and was most recently the Assistant Secretary of the Southeast Asia Maritime Branch. She held a number of senior roles at DFAT and the Department of the Prime Minister and Cabinet, including head of the Southeast Asia Vaccines Access Task Force and Assistant Secretary of the Middle East Branch. She has previously served overseas in the Australian Embassy to Thailand. She is a dedicated advocate for gender equality and women's empowerment. With her leadership in diplomacy, she continues to drive positive change. Let us give a warm welcome to Deputy Ambassador Dr. Moya Colette.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Moya Collett. I'm the Deputy Ambassador at the Australian Embassy here in Manila. It's really a pleasure and a privilege to have the opportunity to come and speak to you today about some of Australia's experiences. Of course, Australia has made a lot of progress, but like so many countries in the world, we still face a number of challenges. And so I want to be quite open about some of those challenges and what we're doing to try to address them. But the basic principle that we work on is that gender equality is a human right. Women's rights are human rights. And that's the most fundamental principle that we work on. So, next slide, please. So Australia currently ranks number 21 in the Global Gender Gap Report. And my understanding is the Philippines is at number 25, so very close to us. It's quite a good number, but I won't be happy until we're at number 1. So we still have quite a long way to go. Number 1 and 2, Australia and the Philippines. Maybe we can get there in the next few years. Australia has put a lot of work into advancing gender equality in recent times. It's been front and center of our policy making, both domestically and internationally. And in the past couple of years, we've issued 2 major strategies for how we're going to do this. The first was released in 2024. It's called Working for Women, A Strategy for Gender Equality. And that's our domestic strategy that charts the framework to advance women's rights, women's equality over the coming 10 years. And the second strategy we released is just this year, which is the International Gender Equality Strategy, which sets out exactly what we're going to be doing internationally to advance women's rights. And there are a number of themes that are there on the screen for you, but what I want to draw your attention to is the similarities between them, because there are a few themes running through them, which are not going to be just specific to Australia, but will be common in many, many countries. The first is safety. Gender-based violence is a real concern for so many countries, and that's mostly what I want to talk about today. Another is health, women's health issues, and issues related to gender and sexual reproductive health is really, really important. Another is economic equality, because in some cases we see that women have all the rights they could possibly have, and yet they still lag behind economically. And then finally, leadership and representation is absolutely critical to achieving all of the other goals, in my opinion. So next slide, please. So moving on to gender-based violence in Australia. I'm not sure how well you can see those stats on the side there, but they are the statistics that tell you about the problem we're facing with violence against women in Australia. It's a really serious problem. And in fact, our Prime Minister has called it a national crisis. And he has said that we are going to end violence against women in 1 generation. If you have a look at some of the stats there, it says one woman is killed in Australia every 10 days. I can't really see that. Can I just take this mic? Intimate partner. So someone that they, someone that they trust, someone they're in a relationship with, kills 1 woman every 10 days. 1 in 5 women have experienced some form of sexual violence. 1 in 6 have experienced violence from an intimate partner. These are really serious and concerning statistics. And I don't know exactly what the statistics are in the Philippines, but I think it's actually quite similar, because this is a problem that is common in so many countries. It's not specific to one particular place. And so we're taking this really seriously in Australia. We have announced a national plan to end violence against women and children in the next 10 years. That's part of our commitment to end this kind of violence within 1 generation. And we've invested the equivalent of 146 billion pesos in making this happen. And at the same time, we've appointed our first national commissioner for domestic, family, and sexual violence. And I think having these kind of leadership roles is really important. You can have money to fund campaigns and programs, and you also need people in positions of leadership who are prepared to take a stand, really take a leadership role and drive these policies forward. Now, with this plan, the way that I think about it, there are 2 major parts to it. One is about addressing the drivers of violence against women, and one is about addressing the impact of it. Because what we found in Australia is that gender-based violence starts with disrespect of women. So it is a lot about norms. It's a lot about the way that people view traditional gender roles. So you've all heard the stories before. You know, women are taught to be caring and nurturing and softer and weaker and, you know, should be more subservient. And boys, at the same time, are expected to be more dominant, are expected to be the ones taking charge. And both of those things, I think, are equally problematic. So part of what we've been doing is to address those kinds of fundamental cultural issues that exist in our society. And so our government has funded national campaigns to really change views about these gender norms and to introduce notions of respect and consent from a very, very young age. So it's really important that all people have a great deal of respect for each other, regardless of age, and consent in terms of sexual activity as they get older is really, really important. We also have very interesting campaigns around engaging with men and boys, because I think it's really important to remember, one of the reasons we've changed our terminology towards gender equality is because it is about talking to men and women. It's not just about talking to women and what they can do. It's also about men and how they alter their behaviour. And it starts really early. So one of the things that we've been doing is engaging with men and boys, for example, through sporting organisations, and trying to just shift notions of what is an acceptable or like what is an appropriate notion of masculinity, how you can express your masculinity without that having a major impact on the women around you. So that's in terms of addressing the drivers of violence. And then of course, we have to also deal with the impact of violence when the statistics are like this. And so there are a number of programs that we have that are to do with that. One of them is that we've introduced a legal entitlement everywhere to 10 days of paid leave for people who are experiencing family and domestic violence. So that's legislated across every employment, every workplace. And another one is, and I think this is really important, implementation of a leaving violence program, which means that if you make the choice to leave a violent partner, which is really difficult for so many women for so many reasons, one of those reasons is financial. So if you do make that choice, you can access up to 180,000 pesos equivalent, so that you have the means to leave that situation. You can move on with your life and you don't have to worry about having no money when you leave that relationship. So, I mean, these are just a few of the things that we're doing, but it gives you a sense of the breadth of our programming to really address this serious problem. And I'm hopeful that we will be able to address it within one generation. Next slide, please. So in terms of how, I think one of the questions was about law enforcement. How do you enforce laws around gender-based violence? So in Australia's system, which is probably a little bit different to here, where it's a state-based system, it's a federal system. And so each of our states has different laws. And so one of the challenges we have is harmonising those laws. So quite a lot of effort has gone into making sure that all the criminal justice systems we have can address this program. And we have to make sure that it works across jurisdiction. So, for example, information sharing between the states, similar kinds of definitions of what gender-based violence is, ability to track perpetrators as they move across jurisdictions. You might not have similar problems here, but that's an issue in Australia. The other thing, which I think probably is similar here, because it happens everywhere, is a need for a cross-sectoral approach. So sometimes you'll have policies that are about law or they're about health. But what we found is that you really need to think of these things holistically. So we have a number of different programs around this, and it's to do with, for example, making sure that medical practitioners are trained to recognise the signs of domestic violence and then can then make referrals to legal practitioners. Or, for example, it's about in our family court system, we have social services embedded in those courts, so that women and children or others who are involved in domestic violence, when they go through legal processes, right there in the court is access to social services, so they can understand, so they have access to those services when they go to court. So trying to integrate some of these different sectors, I think, is a really important part of it as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so moving on to somewhat brighter topics. Just to talk a little bit about Australia and the Philippines' relationship when it comes to gender equality. So as I mentioned at the start, we have a strategy for how we're going to engage internationally, and this includes in our development program. Australia and the Philippines have a really long-established development cooperation program going back 50 years. And last year, we launched our big new development partnership plan with the Philippines. And this charts our objectives over the coming 5 years. It's a development program. Australia is a donor, but we really see this as a partnership approach. We really want to work with the Philippines to support your systems. And one of the major themes running through the entire thing is gender equality. Gender equality is an objective in every one of our investments. So we actually have rules about this. I think 80% of our investments have to address gender equality, but we do it in all of them. I'm not sure if any of you are aware how development programming works, but what happens is we will decide to invest in a particular sector, say the legal sector. And I will read what those objectives are, and there might be 4 or 5 major objectives, and they'll go to all the different things we want to do. But one of those objectives is always about the impact on women. So in every development project we have, we think about what the impact on women will be and how we can address that impact. Or in some cases, what we're doing is we're seeing opportunities in that sector to advance women's equality through this particular development program. And then, of course, we have a few programs that go much more directly to women's equality. One of them is called Spring. It's our new social protection, inclusion, and gender equality program. And one of the things, it's a big program, it does a lot in social protection, but one of the things it's doing is working with the Philippines on improving government services for addressing gender-based violence and adolescent pregnancy, working with the Philippine government on its own systems for addressing these issues. Another is called Fair Justice. That's a big program that we have in partnership with the Supreme Court, and that's really, at its fundamentally, one of the major parts of that is helping women gain access to legal services, helping women gain access to the justice system. Another program that's not mentioned on there, but which I really like, is actually called Investing in Women, and that's an economic program that's all about supporting women-led businesses and changing attitudes towards women in the workplace. So we're really proud of all these programs. I really like them all. They're doing a lot of really good work. And one of the most important things about it is it's not Australia coming in and saying, this is how you should do things in the Philippines. That's not our role. It's about talking to Philippine partners, both in government and in NGOs and in the community, and hearing what kind of support women are looking for, and then coming in and providing that support. Is there another slide? Have we got one more? That's the end. So that's to give you a sense of just some of the things we're doing, both domestically and internationally, in terms of addressing gender equality and improving the rights of women, both in Australia and worldwide. Of course, there are any number of topics that we could go into, but I thought these are some of the topics that would particularly interest you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Deputy Ambassador, for your powerful insights. Your words remind us that every step we take towards gender equality brings us closer to a more just and inclusive society. As we celebrate International Women's Day, we are honored to hear from a distinguished leader and advocate for gender equality, His Excellency Michelle Monique Paris, Ambassador of the Kingdom of Belgium to the Philippines. He has been instrumental in strengthening international cooperation and promoting inclusivity. Today, he will share Belgium's best practices within the country and in the embassy in Manila for empowering women and girls. Representing the embassy is Mr. Fabio Pompetti, with an educational background on European politics and international relations, Belgian Embassy in Manila Deputy Head of Mission, First Secretary and Consul. Mr. Fabio Pompetti has 7 years of career experience with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. He has also worked on development cooperation, humanitarian field operation, risk assessment, and crisis management in various countries outside of Belgium. He will be joining us later during the panel discussion. So let us now watch the ambassador's video message.
Omaga, good morning to you all. First, I would like to thank Makati City Government for inviting us to this event. International Women's Day, or International Women's Month, is a very important reminder that a functional society promotes and upholds women's rights. The City Government of Makati has been a staunch partner in advocating for women empowerment, and last November for the elimination of violence against women. We have been invited to share Belgium's best practices and measures in upholding women's rights. So without further ado, I will start with the first question. What measures are being taken to prevent violence against women and girls by your country? Locally, the 4th Belgian National Action Plan on Women, Peace and Security address all forms of violence against women and girls, in particular sexual violence, as well as women's participation in decision making among its 6 objectives. For advocacy and communication, Belgium supports the movement She Decides, which celebrates its 8th year in 2025. In 2017, Belgium, the Netherlands, Denmark and Sweden launched She Decides as response to the US Global Gag Rule policy that targeted US funding for NGOs operating abroad if they provided abortion services or contributed to abortion advocacy. Since then, the movement grew global, focusing on bodily autonomy, promoting freedom of choice for women and girls, as well as access to those choices. In the Philippines, the embassy upholds the International Day on the Elimination of Violence Against Women in partnership with She Decides Philippines through a cycling event to promote safer public spaces called Share the Road with Her. Additionally, women victims in Belgium of violence have legal access to protection measures. A short barring order is in place to remove a perpetrator from the family home and the residential environment, prohibiting contact with the victim. Internationally, Belgium supports the EU Gender Action Plan 2020-2025 and the 2016 Istanbul Convention, which focuses on prevention of violence, the protection of victims, the prosecution of perpetrators, and the development of holistic policy measures. These are just some of the many other steps Belgium has taken to protect victims of violence against women. As for the second question, are women actively involved in political campaigns and leadership roles? According to UN Women, as of February 2024, 42.7% of seats in parliament were held by women in Belgium. Moreover, the labor force participation rate among females is 50.6% and among males 59.5% for 2023, as recorded by the World Bank. To ensure better representation of women within the federal administrations, Belgium has pursued an active recruitment policy, analyzing the evolution in the recruitment of women. The Departments of Foreign Affairs, Development, Defense, Home Affairs, Police and Justice note the proportion of men and women among diplomats, heads of posts, consuls, development attachés, military, integrated police and judiciary. Globally, Belgium supports United Nations Security Council resolutions and the Sustainable Development Goals, underscoring the position of women in all sectors and areas, from civil and political rights, socio-economic and cultural, to sexual and reproductive rights, and the right to be free from violence and torture. At the Belgian Embassy in Manila, the International Women's Month and the International Day of the Girl Child are both observed by highlighting women and girls in all its public diplomacy activities, partnerships with LGOs, Ambassador for a Day, etc. Ultimately, even with all these initiatives, we recognize that Belgium still has a lot of work ahead to empower women and uphold their rights. The advocacy does not just start every March and end every November. This is something we will continuously fight for until we achieve equality and break discriminating social norms. So for this Women's Month and beyond, I hope we all advocate for empowerment in our own ways. Thank you very much, and mabuhay.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for sharing with us your practices on gender equality. Volunteering plays a crucial role in building stronger and more inclusive communities. And today, we are honored to hear from one of the leaders dedicated to this cause. She graduated with a degree of Bachelor of Science in Agriculture at the Visayas State University. She also obtained a master's degree in Public Administration from the University of the Philippines, Diliman. Currently, she is the Deputy Executive Director and Chief Volunteer Service Officer of the Program Coordination, Monitoring and Evaluation Division of PNVSCA, or the Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency. This agency has been the forefront of promoting volunteerism as a powerful tool for social change and national development. Let us hear a few words from Deputy Executive Director Ella Victoria Sarmago.
Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa lahat. In behalf of the Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency and our Executive Director, Donald James D. Gawe, it is an honor to be here today as we gather to celebrate International Women's Day, a time to recognize and honor the countless achievements of women and girls and to reflect on the continued journey towards achieving gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls as outlined in Sustainable Development Goal 5. This year's International Volunteer Day theme for all women and girls' rights, equality, empowerment aligns with the 2025 National Women's Month celebration sub-theme in the Philippines. Babae sa lahat ng sektor, aangat ang bukas sa bagong Pilipinas. Both themes reflect our commitment to creating an inclusive and equitable future for all Filipino women. They call on every sector of society to embrace gender equality, recognizing the power that empowering women not only uplifts entire communities, but also transforms economies and builds a brighter future for everyone. For generations, women have fought for their rights, defied social norms, and reshaped the world around them. Today, their legacy is undeniable. More women are breaking barriers in leadership, more girls are empowered through education, and women's rights are increasingly championed around the globe. The presentations today showcasing good practices for advancing gender equality offers us inspiration and insights. While we celebrate these achievements, we must also recognize that a world free of discrimination is still a vision that requires continuing action. As we reflect on the progress achieved, we must also ask ourselves, how can we accelerate the journey and SDG 5, which seeks to achieve gender equality and empowerment, empower all women and girls, remain our guiding framework. At the core of this movement is the power of volunteerism. The Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency has long advocated for volunteerism as a tool for social change and development, emphasizing its role in promoting gender equality. The agency actively organizes volunteerism and gender sessions with local government units and higher education institutions nationwide, and ensures that gender and development is seamlessly integrated into the deployment of international volunteers. Australia here is one of our partners in the deployment of international volunteers. As highlighted in the UN General Assembly Resolution 5638 in 2001, it is vital to ensure that volunteering opportunities are open to both women and men, recognizing the empowering impact of volunteerism has on women's lives. Volunteerism helps women break barriers, unlock their potential, and build pathways to leadership, community engagement, and social transformation. The impact of women's volunteerism cannot be overstated. Research shows that women make up 50% of global volunteers, compared to 43% for men, as reported in the 2018 State of the World's Volunteerism. This highlights the significant role women play in shaping communities, promoting social change, and advancing gender equality. In regions like Latin America and the Caribbean, women represent 67% of volunteers, while in Asia and the Pacific, 49% of volunteers are women. Women not only volunteer more than men, but they also lead the change in informal volunteering, with 59% of informal volunteers worldwide being women. This reflects their pivotal role in caregiving, community support, and grassroots initiatives. While gender roles often shape volunteerism, women typically assigned caring roles and men tasked with more physical and crisis response activities, volunteering provides a space to challenge and redefine these norms. Formal volunteering opens doors for women to develop new skills, take on leadership roles, and engage in activities that broaden their horizon. Volunteering also empowers women to challenge stereotypes, increase their visibility, and advocate for gender equality. Women volunteers play a crucial role in addressing gender based violence, supporting survivors, and raising awareness about the importance of gender equality. Their contributions are essential in breaking down stereotypes, challenging societal norms, and ensuring that women's voices are heard. By volunteering, women not only empower themselves, but also help shape a world where gender equality is not just a vision, but a lived reality. In the Philippines, RA 9418, or the Volunteer Act of 2007, also highlights volunteerism as a key strategy for national development, social justice, and solidarity, all essential in achieving gender equality. As we celebrate the contributions of women this month, let's also honor both the women and men who champion gender equality. Achieving this goal requires everyone's participation: women, men, girls, boys, communities, governments, and the private sector. Together, we can break barriers, challenge social norms, and create a world where everyone can thrive equally. At PNBSA, we remain committed to promoting volunteerism as an important tool for advancing gender equality and social change. Let's renew our dedication today, not only in celebration, but through meaningful actions towards creating more inclusive and equitable communities where gender equality becomes a reality. Happy International Women's Day and a pleasant morning to everyone.
Thank you for that message and insights for gender equality, Mr. Marco. As we continue to celebrate International Women's Day, we are honored to hear from Mr. Rangsant Srimangkorn, Chargé d'Affaires of the Royal Thai Embassy. Thailand has been a strong advocate of gender equality on international platforms, aligning with global initiatives like the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 5. Let us watch their video message with their practices to sustain goal number 5.
สวัสดีครับ Excellencies, distinguished guests, Extreme College. It is an honor to address you today on behalf of the Royal Thai Embassy to Manila. I extend my sincere gratitude to our host, the Makati Social Welfare Department, together with the International Relations Department of the University of Makati, and all extreme partners dedicated to advancing sustainable development and gender equality. Your commitment to fostering a more inclusive and equitable society is truly commendable. This year marks a decade since our leaders adopted the Sustainable Development Goals in 2015. While we have made notable progress, the path to achieving these goals by 2030 remains challenged. We must redouble our effort to ensure that no one, especially women and girls, is left behind. Thailand remains steadfast in its commitment to SDG 5, achieving gender equality and empowering all women and girls. This commitment is enabled in our national policies, legal frameworks, and inclusive development strategies. At the core of our effort is the efficient economy soft philosophy (SEP). A people consent is a center approach that guide Thailand has long applied the sufficient economy philosophy (SEP). Our locally driven development approach, which is human-centered and planet-centric, to drive forward sustainable approach in the country. SCP lie on the heart of our efforts in ensuring that no one is left behind. Thailand Inclusive Policy to Advance 2030 agenda includes measures adopted by Cabinet to enable women economic participation in recognition of their important role, the economy SDG 5. Our dedication to gender equality is reflected not only the policy but also in leadership. Today, Thailand Prime Minister Kun Prathongthan Chinnawat is a woman also, a significant milestone that underscores the increasing role of women in the governance. Moreover, Thailand Parliament and other decision-making bodies continue to see rising female representatives, demonstrating our progress in breaking gender barriers. This brings us to two crucial questions that we choose to tackle this past. First, are women active role in political campaigns and leadership role? Second, what is the proportion of women in national parliament, local council, and other decision-making bodies? The answer is clear, that women are playing a growing role in shaping national policies and leading the key sectors. They actively participate in political campaigns, hold key of the government position, and contribute meaningful to legislative and decision-making process. To translate the vision into concrete action, Thailand has implemented strategic policy, including first, Women Development Action during 2023 to 2027. Second, Gender Equality Promotion Action Plan during 2023 to 2027. We also has introduced legislation and institutional mechanism to advance gender equality. The first is the Gender Equality Act 2015. This act is to remark the law prohibiting gender-based discrimination. Second, economic empowerment measures. This measurement to expand the childcare service, promoting paternity leave and extending maternity leave to support working parents. Third, the gender responsive budgeting to ensure the equitable allocation of resources based on device population needs. Fourth, Chief Gender Equality Officers and Gender Focal Point. This means to promote gender mainstreaming across 141 units in 20 ministries. The last one is Women Empowerment Program. Is to provide leadership training, vocational skill, and initiative for women participation in climate action and peace building. Since 2017, the Gender Equality Fund has supported by 54 projects with a total investment of 100.9 million baht, demonstrating our commitment to meaningful and sustainable change for women's role. Despite this achievement, deeply rooted social norm and practical value remain key challenge. The changing mindset and eliminating gender-based violence require long-term commitment, education and policy reform. Thailand remains dedicated to address this issue through continued advocacy and strategic action. Gender equality is not solely women's issue. It's also social imperative. It is about to ensuring that every individual, regardless of gender, has the important role to lead, to contribute, and to drive. As we move forward, let us build Thailand best practice, foster strong partnership, and take decisive step toward future where all women and girls are empowered. Together we can make SDG 5 in reality. Thank you. Mabuhay and Chayo.
Thank you for sharing those insights to us. Our next esteemed speaker is from the Embassy of Mexico. She currently serves as Deputy Head of Mission at the Embassy of Mexico in the Philippines. She has been Deputy Head of Mission at the Mexican Embassy in New Zealand and Deputy Consul General of Mexico in Toronto, Canada. She holds a bachelor's degree in international relations from the Tecnológico de Monterrey and a master's degree in diplomatic studies from the Diplomatic Academy of Mexico. She is also a university expert in planning and management of cooperation projects from the Universidad Nacional de Educación a Distancia de España and holds a diploma in public policy with a gender perspective from the Colegio de Mexico. Let's give a warm applause to Ms. Daniela Hill Sevilla, Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Mexico.
Buenos días. You know, I have to say that sometimes it's a little bit tricky to be one of the last speakers because you feel that what you're going to say is going to be a little bit repetitive. But I've been very lucky today because each one of the speakers before me, they have different approaches. And I don't know you, but I enjoy every single one of the presentations. And the approach that I'm going to present today, it's about political participation of women. I hope you enjoy it. So here we go. Okay, on September 25th, 2015, the United Nations General Assembly adopted the 2030 Agenda, which included the Sustainable Development Goals, let's call them SDGs. With a transversal approach on gender equality, the SDGs aim to eradicate poverty and create more inclusive societies through the implementation of 70 goals. Mexico played an active role in the creation of the SDGs and has made progress in their implementation, including in goal number 5. You know goal number 5. I'm not going to say it out loud, but I'm going to focus my presentation today on the particular target 5.5 to ensure women's full and effective participation and equal opportunities for leadership at all levels of decision making in political, economic, and public life. So I want to start saying that Mexico has a long multilateralist tradition and was the venue of the first World Conference on Women held in Mexico City in 1975. I know it's a very long time ago for you guys. I just wanted to say with this is that this topic is not new for Mexico. I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, more than 40 years, 50 years. So that was 1975, and more recent years, Mexico hosted the Generation Equality Forum, organized together with France and the United Nations. So the forum began in Mexico City, March 2021, and conclude in June in Paris. Sounds nice, right? It was a space for dialogue between governments, NGOs, international organizations, donors, and the idea was to identify projects and funding for them, resources for them. Why is this important? Because the idea was supporting progress of the SDGs and promoting the involvement of young people in gender equality. And this is something relevant, very important, to include the young people in this gender equality. During the forum, Mexico presented the Global Alliance for Care. Hear that? Global Alliance for Care. What's care work? What is that? Any idea? Well, care work is understood as activities for everyday well-being. Cooking, cleaning, looking after the kids. Sounds simple, right? Well, but we are talking about time-consumed and unpaid work carried out mainly by women, and which limits their personal and professional development. So the Global Alliance for Care seeks to advance a more co-responsible care agenda. It's not about women. Everybody has to do their part. Everybody has to contribute on this. And this is to help reduce gender inequality. Okay, moving on, please. Since 2020, Mexico has a feminist foreign policy, being the first Latin American country to adopt one. Just for you to know, nowadays in the world, in the whole world, there are only 11 countries with a feminist foreign policy. But what is that? Any idea? I mean, sounds nice. I know what you're thinking. Tell me more. Of course I will. So, but what's that? What's a feminist foreign policy? Well, the thing is that there is no standard definition about it. In general, a feminist foreign policy seeks to guide the international actions of countries to reduce and eliminate the structural differences between women and men, with a cross-cutting focus on gender and human rights. So, feminist foreign policies recognize intersectionality and make women's contributions visible on the global stage. Feminist foreign policies are relevant for the implementation of the SDGs as they foster alliances, solidarity, and international cooperation to achieve substantive equality. And I'm going to talk about this term later. And they include, among other things, commitments to eliminate gender-based violence against women at the national, regional, and international level. For Mexico, and this is specific for my country, for Mexico, the feminist foreign policy is a set of transformative actions that contribute to the achievement of substantive equality in all areas of Mexico's foreign policy and its institutional work based on human rights, the promotion of women's autonomy, and the integration of gender equality and sectionality perspectives. In other words, Mexico's feminist foreign policy seeks to transform structures, close inequality gaps, and consolidate a more inclusive diplomacy. As part of this commitment at the international level, Mexico promotes events, actions, initiatives in favor of women's rights, such as the resolution elimination of all forms of discrimination against women and girls at the United Nations Human Rights Council, the Global Alliance for Care that I just mentioned it. By the way, the government of the Philippines is part of it. And in total, it has so far 255 members, this global alliance. And the third International Summit on Feminist Foreign Policies that was held in Mexico City last year, among others. Now, let's move on to the domestic level. And let's talk about Mexico's internal actions to the fulfillment of the SDGs, particularly in terms of gender equality and women's participation on decision making. And well, I'm very proud to say that. Talking about political participation, is my honor to say that since October 2024, and for the first time in the history of Mexico, my country has a female president. Or, as we say, presidenta. This has been a gradual process in Mexican society. Things like that doesn't happen from one day to the other. Although in the past there has been female candidates for the presidency of the country, their chances of winning has been limited. However, in recent years, we have seen increasing participation of women in high-level public office. So what has changed? One of the changes is due to the fact that in the last 15 years, Mexico has carried out important constitutional reforms and created laws in favor of equality and human rights. Now, let's talk about what we did. In 2011, various constitutional articles were reformed, and the treaties, the international treaties that Mexico has ratified, were considered as the same level of our constitution. And also, the obligation of the authorities, any authority in Mexico, to promote, respect, protect, and guarantee human rights, and to be guided by the pro persona principle. This is something that it was included in the Constitution, the pro persona principle, that is to apply the norm that provides more protection to people, was established. Likewise, the prohibition of discrimination based on sexual preferences was incorporated into Article 1 of the Constitution. And by the way, that article already contained the prohibition of discrimination based on gender. 8 years later, 2019, 10 constitutional articles were reformed to guarantee parity in all public decision-making positions. That's what we call parity in everything. And for us, we understand gender parity as the balanced participation and equal representation of women and men in positions of power and decision-making. And this was a milestone for women's rights, because with this reform, half of the political decision-making positions at the 3 levels of government, local, state, and federal, as well as the candidacies of political parties, are to be held by women. This is in the law. It should be noted that the principle of parity was already included into the Constitution in 2014, but its application at the time was limited because it only guaranteed parity of women and men in federal and local congresses. Likewise, since 2002, there has been affirmative actions such as gender quotas that at that time gave 1/3 of candidacies to women in political parties. Now, besides these reforms, these constitutional reforms, we've been working in the last decades in some laws in favor also of equality, such as what you can see there. I'm not going to read them. And also, since 2020, Mexican laws consider political violence based on gender as an electoral offense. It is about And this is about any action or omission based on gender elements and exercise within the public or the private sphere that limits the effective exercise of the political electoral rights of one or more women. So, where are we now? With these constitutional reforms, laws, public policies, etc., well, we have contributed to the greater participation of women in decision-making policies and at the political level, thus advancing the commitment in the SDGs. However, this progress has been made mostly in the Congress and the federal level, with parity between legislators, and in the government cabinet, already a reality, basically 50-50. But at the state and municipal level, progress has been gradual, with nowadays 13 of the 32 states of Mexico, we have states, not provinces, government by women. Challenge persists also in the private sector. According to the study Women in Business 2024 by the Mexican Institute of Competitiveness, women generally represent 43% of workforce in company. This is something general. But the percentage drops to only 13%. Hear this, from 43 to 13% on boards of directors. So, although Mexican law guarantees formal equality, the challenge of providing the necessary conditions of women to reach their potential for development continues. I would like to conclude this presentation by mentioning that in order to face this challenge, a new reform was issued in November 2024. This is by the new administration, and this time focuses on substantive equality. Remember that I told you that I was going to talk about that? Well, here we go. And what is substantive equality? Well, it's to ensuring the same treatment and opportunities for the recognition and exercise of human rights of women and men. The reform establishes at the constitutional level the obligation of the Mexican state to guarantee this substantive equality, and also seeks to eliminate the wage gap between women and men by stipulating equal pay for equal work, regardless sex, gender, or nationality. The implementation of this reform involves the adjustment and/or creation of new public policies, which is currently in process. So, thank you very much. On this I finish with the presentation. Thank you very much for the invitation. Look forward to continue talking to you.
Thank you, Ms. Daniela, for sharing about political participation of women in Mexico. To add more color to our celebration, we have a special performance prepared for you by the artists from University of Makati's Center for Culture and the Arts. Let's give a round of applause to UMak Jammers, or also known as the U-Jam.
Be my lady, come to me and take my hand and be my lady. Truly, I must let you know that I'm in love with you. All I want is you. How I need you. So please be my lady. Maybe you could lose the pain if you just tell me. Say the words you long to whisper that I want to hear. Something's on your mind, it is hidden in your smile. Be my lady. Just forget the past, it's time to mend your broken heart. No walls divide us now, so dry the tears in your eyes. Nothing can stop us now. I'll give you all I have. Be my lady. You're the one that I adore, so please believe me. I can never find the courage to resist your charm. Nothing's more divine that each moment you are mine. Be my lady. Just forget the past, it's time to mend your broken heart. No walls divide us now, so dry your tears in your eyes. Nothing can stop us now. I'll give you all I have. Be my lady. Let the sun shine through your heart and make a brand new start. Stay with me each night and day through the rest of my life. Just like my work of art, my love will last until forever. Just like the work of art, my love will last forever.
First I was afraid, I was petrified, kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights thinking how you did me wrong, and I grew strong, and I learned how to get along. And so you're back from outer space. I just walk in to find you here with that sad look upon your face. I should have changed that stupid lock. I should have made you leave your key. If I have known for just 1 second you'll be back to bother me, go and I'll go. Walk out the door. Just turn around now, 'cause you're not welcome anymore.
Weren't you the one that tried to hurt me with goodbye? Did you think I'd crumble? Do you think I'd lay down and die? Oh, no, that I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I've got all my life to live. I've got all my love to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. Yeah. It took all the strength I had not to fall apart. Just trying hard to mend the pieces of my broken heart. And I spent so many nights just feeling sorry for myself. I used to cry, but now I hold my head up high and you see me, somebody new. I'm not that changed of little person, still in love with you. And so you felt like jumping in and just expect me to be free. Now I'm saving all my loving for someone who's loving me. Oh no, that I will survive. Oh, as long as I know how to love, I know I'll stay alive. I got all my life to live, and I've got all my life to give, and I'll survive. I will survive. I will survive.
Thank you, UMak Jammers, for that. It's truly wonderful. I think the song is dedicated to women striving to survive, not just women, as well as other gender, uh, other gender. And now for our final but certainly not least esteemed guest of the day to share her insights and to present UMAC's best practices on gender equality and women's empowerment. She is the head of the Center for Inclusive Education, Gender and Development Program at the University of Makati and is dedicated to promoting gender equality and inclusivity within the university community. Let us all welcome Ms. Caroline Balsamo.
Thank you, Madam Host, for that introduction. Actually, I'm not used to being introduced like that, especially the head of the office. No? Just calling my name would have been enough. To be honest, no, I was hesitant to push through with this sharing today. The other day, I had a dream that my father passed away while I am speaking in front of you. Honestly, it shook me because my father have been hospitalized for more than two months, battling lung cancer. But the show must go on, no? So I don't want to miss this opportunity to share our best practices with you. No, best practices that we've implemented, the initiatives we've started, and the progress we've made at our university. So, a pleasant morning to everyone. Let me start with this statement. The University of Makati goes beyond what is seen and heard because development is for all. Despite the challenges we face as a community, we continue to take pride in celebrating and embracing inclusivity. Our university has always been a place where every individual, regardless of background or ability, is given an opportunity to grow, learn, and contribute to society. It is through our collective efforts that we continue to uphold gender and development, ensuring that no one is left behind. Before discussing the programs and services that reinforce gender and development in our university, let me share the essence of our office. The Inclusive Education, Gender and Development was established with a profound mission to provide free, appropriate, quality, and industry-driven education for persons with disabilities and those facing personal challenges. We ensure that learners with special education needs thrive alongside with regular students, fostering an environment that with fostering an environment of integration rather than segregation. By merging the Center for Gender and Development and with the Center for Inclusive Education, our commitment to making a difference has grown even stronger. We champion inclusivity, allowing every student to become a productive member of society, regardless of personal or physical limitations, ethnicity, or cultural background. The center guarantees that laws and its policies safeguarding students' rights are upheld, promoting a gender-responsive and inclusive university and city. Founded in 2018, the Inclusive Education aimed to provide education that fosters independent living and active participation in society. In 2020, its integration with the Center for Gender and Development expanded its scope, offering greater opportunities for collaboration with various stakeholders. Together, we work toward Makati's vision of equal opportunities for all, including those who are differently abled and vulnerable sectors of our society. Our advocacy for diversity and equity stands as a pillar in education and skill development, ensuring that every student receives the necessary support to succeed. We listen to the voices of those in need, intervene when necessary, equip students with the skills for independent living, and ultimately empower them to take charge of their future confidently. These guiding principles shapes the services and programs we provide. Our office offers various services that support our students, ensuring they receive the education and opportunities they deserve. From structured admission processes that accommodate persons with disabilities to content modifications tailored to students' abilities and industry demands using directed curriculum, creating a learning environment that fosters growth. Intervention strategies are implemented through constant collaboration with professors, while with academic peers and job coaching provide additional layers of support. We conduct regular moment sessions, which means monitoring and mentoring with students, professors, industry partners, and parents. Our guided on-the-job training program prepares students for employment by immersing them in various industries, bridging the gap between education and the workforce. Our office coordinates with various industries discussing our program, highlighting students' profiles, abilities, and interventions necessary in interacting with special needs learners. Beyond academics, personal empowerment initiatives focus on students' holistic development, addressing emotional wellness and career preparation. Our office established a friendly haven where students can stay without the fear of being treated as different. Employment support and industry partnership open doors for PWDs, ensuring they have access to opportunities that align with their skills and aspirations. Instructional support guarantees that inclusive teaching strategies are in place, while privacy and security measures safeguard students' rights and personal information. In fact, a total of 164 PWD students are currently enrolled at the University of Makati, recorded. Actually, some of them are here. Please stand. We have, among these students, there is a wide range of disabilities, including orthopedic, intellectual, hearing, learning, communication, psychosocial, visual, and speech disabilities, with autism also being represented. You may take your seat. Through our dedicated programs, 16 PWDs have successfully graduated, with some now employed in government and private sectors. The University of Makati remains committed to inclusivity, ensuring that no one is turned away. This dedication proves that our institution truly upholds inclusive education. As a result, we are gaining recognition in various places, reflecting our continuous growth. Education extends beyond the classroom. That is why our office actively promotes gender equality and inclusivity through awareness campaigns. Our programs have reached schools across Makati, educating students and faculty on gender sensitivity, inclusive education, and legal protections. One of our notable events, When is Enough Enough? With Honorable Geraldine Roman, sparked meaningful conversation on sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. This event challenged societal norms and raised crucial questions like how much more must individual endure before inclusivity becomes the norm? When will our laws be sufficient to safeguard all identities? When will society move beyond outdated narratives and embrace diversity? When will individuals feel free to live authentically without fear or judgment? These are the questions that need to be answered. Unless and until we fully understand diversity, then we will continue living with two worlds, the world of those who can and the world of those who cannot. We have also conducted the Understanding Disability training, which aims to raise awareness amongst all stakeholders and the entire university on the importance of understanding disabilities. This leads to the delivery of more appropriate and timely interventions. Furthermore, it empowers and encourages the community to identify and refer PWDs for proper support. This training also provides inspiration to PWDs and their families, showing that disabilities do not hinder anyone who is willing to persevere and face challenges, ultimately leading to empowerment and independent living. Our gender fair language and Gender Responsive Education campaign seeks to reduce gender stereotyping and discrimination. Language plays a key role in how gender is perceived. Through the promotion of sensitive language, individuals can better reflect on gender identities and expressions, making it easier to challenge societal norms that define men and women in stereotypical ways. We have also conducted inclusive and gender-sensitive workplace initiatives to ensure that our university becomes more inclusive and gender-sensitive, providing a balanced and respectful environment for all employees and students. The Understanding Gender Disability and Differences activity was implemented to enhance awareness and understanding of current issues that affect our students, university personnel, and stakeholders. Addressing diversity within the academic setting contributes to a more harmonious, balanced, and productive learning environment. We also initiated a citywide sex disaggregated profiling, which helped raise awareness on the importance of maintaining detailed baseline information systems. This data will guide the development of future programs and services, ensuring that all research, projects, and activities are inclusive and gender responsive. This profiling system aims to address issues and concerns identified through data analysis, leading to better resolutions and policies. Furthermore, we conducted orientation with parents and special education partners to create awareness about disability. This also encourages the community to help identify and refer PWDs for proper intervention, ensuring that their needs are met in a timely and efficient manner. We have worked on developing a framework of inclusive and gender-sensitive values to ensure that our university is a place where all students and employees feel valued and supported, regardless of gender, ability, and other differences. One of our flagship events, the Gender Awareness Photo Contest and Exhibit, had a theme, Unity in Diversity Towards an Inclusive Community. The contest celebrated the richness of diversity and the importance of inclusion. Similarly, we have also conducted sex education, which emphasizes the importance of sexual health education. This program is designed to ensure that every students are equipped with knowledge about sexual health, relationships, and their rights. It aims to break the stigma surrounding sexuality and empower them to make informed decisions about their bodies, relationships, and well-being. Empowering differently abled men and women. Next. Empowering differently abled men and women focuses on broader empowerment initiatives that support PWDs in various aspects of life, including education, career development, and independent living. This program advocates for equal opportunities, personal growth, and removal of barriers that hinder PWDs from fully participating in society. It ensures that they are empowered not only in terms of their physical and emotional well-being, but also in their capacity to thrive in all areas of life. We also hosted the God Advocacy Film Festival with the theme, Tinig ng Pagkakaisa tungo sa pagkakapantay-pantay ng bawat isa. Voices of Unity Towards Equality for All. The festival aimed to spark conversations around gender equality, social inclusion, and the empowerment of marginalized groups. Our Healthy Minds, Healthy Bodies program promotes mental health awareness, ensuring that students have necessary support to succeed academically and emotionally. Through resilient leadership, mental health, gender inclusivity, and workforce readiness. We help students develop leadership skills while fostering an understanding of mental health and gender inclusivity in the workplace. The Breaking the Silence Teenage Pregnancy and HIV Awareness for a Healthy Future program raise awareness of these critical issues, empowering students to make informed decisions about their health and well-being. Additionally, we have carried out gender and development awareness initiatives. Gender and development encompasses the core functions of higher educational institutions, focusing on instruction, research, and extension. From what we have learned, I can confidently say that from being a God-aware university, we have now become a God-practicing institution. We also participated in the Pride March with the theme Spread the Love Makati, showing our commitment to supporting and celebrating the LGBTQ community. The Pride March not only celebrated diversity, but also reinforced the university's pledge to create a welcoming and inclusive environment for all. Our institutions and universities, including the League of Persons with Disability Affairs, National Capital Region, University of Muntinlupa, Bulacan State University, and many others, have benchmarked our university for its exemplary practices in inclusivity and gender-responsive initiatives. As part of our commitment to inclusivity and gender sensitivity, the university have also made significant policy changes. Students are now allowed to express themselves freely through long hair and cross-dressing, fostering confidence, self-acceptance, self-expression, and authenticity. These changes empower individuals by allowing them to present themselves in a way that aligns with their identity, ultimately creating a more supportive and respectful learning environment. When people are free to express themselves without fear of discrimination, they can focus on their studies and personal growth without unnecessary barriers. In addition, we have taken concrete steps to ensure that our facilities reflect our inclusive values, adhering to the provisions of accessibility law and the ILG building code. We may now be fully adherent, but we are getting there. For one, we now have gender-neutral comfort rooms and PWD restrooms on every floor, ensuring that every student, regardless of gender identity or physical ability, has access to safe and accommodating spaces. This initiative is a testament to our university's dedication to fostering a truly inclusive and respectful environment where everyone feels valued and supported. Moreover, our God Corners, equipped with informative leaflets and readings, have been set up in libraries and at the office to promote gender awareness and education, especially for students and faculty. These corners serve as continuous reminders of the importance of gender equality, women empowerment, and inclusive practices. With our ongoing efforts, we envision a future where the University of Makati offers sign language as a course across programs, aligning with the national vision of a sign language conversant justice system. As someone who is a sign language conversant, I am committed to promoting accessibility and inclusivity for the deaf community. By making sign language accessible to all students, faculty, and staff, we take a step closer to a society where communication barriers no longer exist. Furthermore, We aim to accommodate more students with disabilities in various university programs, fostering an environment where they can learn alongside their peers without limitations. Our sign language training initiative, now in its 5th year, continues to empower students, faculty, and university personnel, reinforcing our commitment to inclusivity. We have also focused on women empowerment, organizing several campaign awareness programs that educate our community on the laws and protections available for women. These campaigns are not just about awareness. They are about actively empowering women to know their rights and to stand strong, knowing they are supported by the community and legal frameworks. We believe that empowering women is an essential part of our commitment to equality and respect for all individuals. Several posters advocating for women's rights have been posted in various locations across the university. Furthermore, on March 19, 2025, we will be conducting a gender sensitivity training session for our students and employees in collaboration with the Armed Forces of the Philippines. On March 20, 2025, a special activity for women will also take place, a collaborative effort between God University Student Council, College of the Governance and Public Policy, and our office. Women in our community must feel confident in pursuing their goals, whether in education, the workforce, or personal development. Their voices, contributions, and leadership are invaluable. We will continue to ensure that our programs promote equal opportunities and create spaces where women can thrive and flourish. Actually, our journey is not easy, but we make sure that every step we take leads us to closer to a society that truly values inclusion and equity. Actually, 5 years ago, I embarked on a journey that taught me more than I had ever imagined. As a registered social worker, I was thrilled to finally begin my career at the University of Makati, in a field I have always held close to my heart. My years in inclusive education, gender, and development were not easy. It presented countless challenges. However, it also brought me great fulfillment and deepened my passion for this. A lot of people ask me what inspired me to be part of the inclusive education, gender, and development. And why am I continuing to pursue a career in a field where many decide to live, unfortunately? Bakit ka nagtatagal dyan? Bakit mga PWDs lang ang nasa isip mo? Bakit puro kababaihan? Bakit mo pinaglalaban ng mga bakla? I wish my answer were as simple as saying, I love these students. And I want to make a difference for all. Although there is an obvious truth to this statement, what I love more is celebrating the achievements, both big and small, of a student or person who faces adversity every single day. Nothing brings me joy than watching them succeed beyond expectations. Because, as Jacqueline Woodson said, diversity is about all of us and about having to figure out how to walk through this world together. As we move forward, let us remember that inclusivity is not just a policy. It is a culture of acceptance, equality, and empowerment. The University of Makati stands firm in its mission, advocating for a society where everyone has equal access to education, employment, and opportunities. Sa University of Makati, we rise, we shine anywhere. With this, We strive to build a community where diversity is embraced and inclusivity is at the heart of everything we do. Ganito kami sa Makati. Better. Sana ganito rin sa buong bansa. Together, let us create a society that values diversity and ensures that development is truly for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Carol, for your insights. We are grateful for your for voices like yours, and for UMak's dedication to promoting inclusivity inspires us all to continue advocating for a meaningful change. And congratulations as well to the achievements of students under your program. Thank you, University of Makati, for creating and implementing these programs. Let's give another round of applause. Let me acknowledge the presence of President-elect Shur Ramos. Thank you. Now we move on to one of the most anticipated parts of our program, a panel discussion featuring our remarkable presenters. Moderating today's discussion is Ms. Camille Navarro, Director of Center for International and Global Affairs of the University of Makati, who will guide us through a meaningful conversation about breaking barriers, gender equity, and leadership. Let's give her a round of applause.
Maybe I should just take it. Thank you, Miss Gian, for that kind introduction. And good morning again to everyone. Of course, our university officials from the University of Makati, led by Professor Alexor C. Ramos. VP Jewel, you heard her earlier. Thank you so much for that remarkable speech that you gave to welcome everybody warmly. And of course, VP Hill, our Vice President for Student Services and Community Extension. Esteemed guests, thank you all for making time today. So I know we're talking about SDG 5, but let's also talk about SDG 3. You have been seated for a long time, since 8:30 in the morning. Why don't we do a bit of well-being and good health? So just kindly indulge me. Stand a bit, just for a few seconds. Stretch those bodies, stretch those legs. 10 seconds of our time just to make sure that everybody feels there, better. Feels good, right? So 10, 9, 8, 7, stretch. You could, if you're willing, if you're comfortable, go ahead and try to reach the ceiling. If you can, there you go. Feels much better, correct? Okay, thank you. Thank you for indulging me. And we can take our seats once again. Thank you very much for that. So, before we, as we continue rather, the International Women's Day, yesterday, I think I'd like to begin with what happened with the university yesterday. Our president led the launching of our Technology and Business Innovation Hub. And one of the core lessons that we learned yesterday is that we must all ask questions. For us to be able to solve problems, we must be able to acknowledge and ask questions. So I turn the microphone back over to our host.
Ayun na.
Okay, sorry about that. So going back, one of the core lessons from yesterday is we should all ask questions. And ladies and gentlemen in the audience, this is the avenue for that. So we hope that based on what you listened to for the past couple of hours, you will have something to ask our esteemed speakers this morning. So another thing, I know today is the designated International Women's Day, but every day for us should be Women's Day. It's a wonderful time to be a woman today. For the City of Makati, we are led by a woman mayor. For our University of Makati, in our management committee, 3 are women leaders. We have 3 women leaders in the management committee. And in the university alone, out of 55 offices, there are 18 offices which are led by women. So we should always consider every day to be Women's Day for all of us. So back to the questions. Once again, we would like to invite our panelists to join us on stage. From the Embassy of Commonwealth of Australia, Deputy Ambassador Dr. Moya Colette. Thank you. Please join us in front. So also from the Embassy of the Kingdom of Belgium, Mr. Fabio Pompetti, Deputy Head of Mission. Let's all give them a warm round of applause. From the Embassy of the United Mexican States, Ms. Daniela Hill Sevilla, Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Mexico. And once again from the University of Makati, Ms. Carolyn Balsamo, Head of the Inclusive Education, Gender and Development Section of the University of Makati. Back to you, Ms. Gian.
Yeah, before we begin our Q&A segment, let's hear a short message from UMak's president. Sir.
Good morning, especially from our friends from the Diplomatic Corps. Magandang umaga po. Good morning. Of course, my fellow workers in the University of Makati and also from the City Government of Makati, head by our MSWD head, Ms. Joyce, our students and guests, magandang umaga po. Actually, I just wanted to drop by to say hello to everyone, but my wife would always say when she introduces me to a group of friends, this is my ex, because that is my nickname, ex. And then she would always say that, I always respect my husband. He is always the head. He makes the decisions, but I'm the neck. So wherever I move my neck, he has to follow. So that, I think, is, the strength as we celebrate National Women's Month, this month of March, the strength that a woman actually, or women in our society nowadays actually brings. They help us actually in a lot of ways, and we're very proud that here in the University of Makati, amongst our management team, we are 7, and 3 of our management team are actually women. So that speaks a lot about the kind of leadership that women also bring in society and also in universities. And I hope that this conversation this morning will inspire more of our women leaders to dare to ask and to believe that you are as great and as equal as the opposite sex. Okay, so for all the women here, mabuhay kayong lahat, and a pleasant good morning, and thank you for having us and having this conversation here at the University of Makati. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor X.
All right, so back to the panel discussion. I'm sure you have your questions, members of the audience. I believe our audience joining us through Facebook, is it through Facebook or YouTube, you may also send your questions in, and then somebody will just read it for us or bring it over. So please feel free to keep those questions coming. So first, I think we've been hearing a lot of policies and initiatives given by the various countries for their respective countries too. But I think we would like to hear something on a personal note too. You are all strong leaders in your own right. For the women, what made you be the leader, woman leader that you are now? And for the gentlemen, so far that's only you, sir. What have you noticed through the years that you could say, on a personal perspective, really brought forth this women leadership in the forefront, where in Belgium? Hopefully, you could give us a perspective in Belgium for that. So, I hope that we would all be able to share from your personal history, so to speak. So, anyone may begin.
Ladies first.
Ladies first, of course. And the microphones are on the table. Thank you.
So I feel very privileged because what I can say that I don't know that many can say is that I feel like I've really never experienced barriers because of being a woman in my life. I come from a family where my mother was a feminist, my grandmother was a feminist, my grandfather is a feminist, and there's never been any question about whether I could achieve anything that I set out to achieve. And I think that's really crucial because lots of young girls don't experience that. And so what I would say is it's really important to deliver that message from a really, really young age so that girls never feel like there are any barriers. And of course, growing up in Australia where women have had equal opportunities for a long time and being encouraged to take advantage of those opportunities, I've always felt like I could pursue my dreams. What I did want to talk about just a little bit is within my own organization, which is the Department of Foreign Affairs and Trade. We've come a long way in delivering women's equality in leadership roles. So only 10 years ago, we only had 25% of our ambassador roles filled by women, and now we're at 49%. And that was a very deliberate strategy. So up until 2015, the idea was, well, women have every opportunity and we have equal numbers of women entering at the entry level, so eventually women will make it to leadership roles. But it didn't happen. And so what our leadership team decided was that we had to introduce targets. We had to make a deliberate decision that we wanted to have women in these leadership roles. And once we didn't have quotas, but we had targets. And once it was a deliberate decision to try to track how women were moving through the organization and moving into more senior ranks and moving into ambassadorial positions, it only took 10 years to catch up to 50-50. But it had to be deliberate. And I think it's really important because now that we're there, now that we have women in these leadership roles, that makes it normal. So it gives women, more junior women, the opportunity to see, well, that's what I can do. That's a position I can be in. I don't have to feel like my career is limited. But we had to make that deliberate decision in order to create the norm, in order to create the culture and the normality of that. So I think, being encouraged to do whatever you want to do from a really young age and then having role models in senior positions has been critical in my career.
Thank you, Deputy Ambassador Colette. I think we will proceed now with Ms. Danielle Sibilia.
Yeah, thank you. I think that being a woman and living in this unequal world makes you a very resilient person. And I believe that's part of the secret of all women here. I'm pretty sure that all of you have, whatever you do, whatever you feel that it costs you the double, the triple that any other man. But I think that if we are still doing this, if we're still working on this, is because we are part of the solution and not the problem. We are working to have a world that is equal. And for that, we cannot give up. We have to continue doing this. I want to tell you that besides being the deputy head of mission at the embassy, I'm also the liaison for gender. Just for you to know, in Mexico, every embassy and every consulate have a liaison for gender. And the idea is, well, to promote what Mexico does outside the embassy. That's what I'm doing today, of course. But also inside the embassy, to promote a healthy environment, to promote equality, and to promote working as a team, no matter what we are, no matter if we are woman, men, whatever. So, as I said, I think this is something very important, resilience, and to believe that we are doing something to make this world better. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Head Sevilla. And we proceed now to Mr. Pompetti.
Yes. Yeah, on my side, I want to say that yes, for me, I think women leadership is critical, is essential. We have a very similar situation than Australia. Overall, all the figures that you presented before, and also the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, I will talk about that. But if the laws and policies are the first step, then the second step is the implementation of these laws and policies. And I would like to share the situation that we have, because it's very practical. The Foreign Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Belgium, I mean, promoting gender equality is a pillar of our foreign policy for more than a decade, maybe 2 decades now. But in 2020, our management committee of the Foreign Affairs looked at ourselves, how we were doing with gender equality within the Foreign Affairs. And in Brussels, at the headquarters, out of 1,000 civil servants, women were approximately about 53%, so which is quite good. But then when you look at the leading position, the general directors, women were only 20%. Head of unit, the same, merely 30%. This is for the civil servant working at the headquarters. So it doesn't matter if overall women are majority, 53%, if the leading position are all held by men. And the similar was even worse, the situation of the Belgian diplomatic corps, where women in 2020 accounted only for 11% of ambassadors' position. We were actually in the bottom 3 of a shameful ranking, together with 2 other countries that I will not name, because but countries that are not known for promoting gender equality. So that was a shock for everybody. So the same, we apply a very deliberate policy. First of all, to recruit women, because in the diplomatic corps only 30% were women. So to promote on the recruitment policies, trying to attract more women, but also putting things in place like career break. Because before, in Belgium, we can enjoy a career break of 1 year or 2 years, but it was not the case for people posted abroad, like diplomats. That was also something. So we put in place different steps like that to facilitate for the family, also family position for the woman. And we started nominating rightly women at ambassador position. I think now we are close to 40%, so we have still some way to go. But as an example, I'm happy to share that we will have a change of ambassador this summer. The ambassador you have seen on the screen before is ending his terms, and he will be replaced, but for the first time in the Philippines, by a female woman ambassador. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is, to conclude, it's really critical that to promote gender equality, that women being in the leading position overall, that's really critical. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Pompetti. So we could hear that there was really a deliberate decision It was in the structure, it was in the policies, and in the implementation as well. So we heard that in the recruitment, there was a conscious effort to also make that, well, deliberate. I think I would have had a follow-up question to that in terms of how the men initially may have been well, accepting of the change. I mean, you said it was a deliberate. We talked about resilience. For the past how many hours I've been hearing about how it could be challenging. So I'm sure initially, since it's a form of change, then there must have been some resistance to it. So I'm wondering if maybe, or would you say in general, the organizations that you have worked with respectively were all very much ready to embrace it and accept it?
Yeah, it's a good point that you make. When we made this decision, our secretary was actually a man, so it was a man's decision to make this change. I wouldn't say that it was universally accepted. Certainly, there were some men that felt like they were then going to miss out on opportunities if women were going to be put into them. But I think the key here is leadership, because I remember our secretary made a really important speech, and what he said is that targets don't undermine the merit-based principle, they give effect to the merit-based principle. So if you assume that women and men are equally talented, then there should be 50-50. And if it's not the case, if 75% of senior roles are held by men, that means actually men are getting positions that they're not qualified for effectively. And so all we're doing is giving effect to the merit-based principle. Of course, there would be people who disagree with that. Of course, there'll be people who are detractors and who didn't like the policy. But overall, I haven't seen a huge amount of pushback. I haven't seen it being, it's not a policy that's been particularly controversial. And as I was saying, once we achieved that 50-50, there wasn't any need to labor the point about targets, because it became so normal to see women in these roles. It just became part of our normal culture.
Thank you, thank you. Ma'am Sevilla or Sir Pompetti?
No?
Okay, remember that I told you that Mexico has a feminist foreign policy, and as part of that feminist foreign policy, we promote events, resolutions, etc. In the international level. But inside the institution, I'm talking about the Mexican Minister of Foreign Affairs. Inside the institution, and also as part of this feminist foreign policy, we have been working also in equality. I'm going to give you an example. In the case of the Mexican Foreign Service, basically 50 and 50 are men and 50 are women. But what we see in Mexico is not that different what you see in your countries. I mean, when you are starting to have promotions, you're starting to see less women and more men in the promotion. And that at the top of the pyramid, yes, I know I'm Mexican, I'm talking about a pyramid. At the top of the pyramid, you see about 20%, maybe less, women in the decision-making position. So what we did because of this feminist policy is that for the first time, Mexico had a what we call a promotion contest. Just for you to know, when it's our time to have a promotion, you just don't get it. You have to present not only your file, but some exams. So we call it contest. Let's call it promotion contest. And for the first time, they have quotas. So there was some number of promotions for women, another number of promotions for men. Not everybody was happy. Not everybody was okay with this process. Some people says, no, this is not okay. Some others agree. But at the end, something that happens is that we saw a reduction in this gap. It's not enough. We're going to need more contests like this. But this is a beginning. And this is a beginning that also people to start to, to understand this, to understand that we are in this together. And quotas are not forever. This is something temporal. But this is helping us, it's working for us. Each country is different. But it's working for us to reduce this gap in leadership between women and men.
Thank you, Ms. Sevilla.
Yeah, I can say that at the policy level, we didn't encounter any resistance on the principle, the ideas, and the policies. There is no resistance. It's not controversial. Everybody agrees about the gender equality. But there is always a but. We noticed that when it comes to appointing personnel to what is considered as most prestigious position, being at the headquarters or abroad, the most prestigious embassies, or considered the most prestigious position, like Washington, New York for Belgium, or Geneva, it's most of the time, almost 90% a man, or most of the time a man who is appointed. So also the gender equality, I think it's not only to have like 50% ambassadors or general directors, both women, 50% women, but it's also like that for what is considered the most prestigious position, that also that can be held by women. So there is still a way to go. There is still a way to go for us, I mean for Belgium, to achieve the gender equality. Yeah. It's kind of a reflex, it's not on the idea, it's not that people think that men are more talented, or it's not that, it's just old, very old, bad reflex a bit, and yeah,
Great.
unfortunately.
Thank you, Mr.
But I think we are conscious about that, because at least now, when when these nominations happen, it creates a kind of a turmoil, debates. People are not happy, saying, "Oh, all the main position are being held by men. How come?" So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Papetti. So I think we'd like to hear from our students this time. So is there a question that? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Please introduce yourself and the course you are in for the benefit of our speakers.
Good morning po. I'm Romalyn Lasquite from the Institute for Social Development and Nation Building, taking a Bachelor of Science in Disaster Risk Management. So my question is quite sensitive because it is treated as an issue during Women's Month. So my question is, what can you say about trans women being included in Women's Month?
So Australia's policy is founded in inclusion, and that's the fundamental principle. And I've noticed, this kind of question gets raised sometimes in Women's Months, and often it gets raised as a bit of a gotcha question, like you've got to find the right answer, and it's like really problematic. But in my experience, it's never been a factor. It's never come up as an actual problem, i.e., we take an inclusive approach. People want to identify as women, then they should feel included in Women's Month. It's never been a problem for us. So I kind of struggle to answer it because it's never been a problem that I've encountered. If you start with an inclusive approach and you include those who want to be included, it doesn't need to become a dramatic kind of issue.
No, the same. The idea is to be inclusive. Just for you to know, we have a campaign in Mexico that we call it Zona Segura, Safe Zone, which basically every embassy and consulate of Mexico, is a safe zone. Everybody is welcome no matter what. And we have policies. For example, if you are Mexican and you go to a consulate and you ask for a passport because you change your sex, you can do it. This is part of the services we do. We will provide you a passport. We will provide you a birth certificate with the sex you are approving at the moment. So, as I said, this is about being inclusive and be tolerant, non-discrimination, and everybody's welcome.
Yes, same for us. And it's also a question that regards me on a personal note, because as a very, very, very close person to me is in that position. But for Belgium, it's a full inclusion, definitely. At the age of 12, a person can change his first name. at the civil registry, and at the age of 16 can decide it alone, even against the will of his parents, to change his gender at the civil registry. This is new in Belgium without paying fees. Before it was, up and recently, it was you needed also first the support or the advice of a medical doctor, psychiatrist, actually, which was embarrassing or humiliating for the people to have to go to a psychiatrist who has to agree to assess your mental condition. So for us, it's full inclusion. No debate about that. But there are definitely a resistance, and sometimes we see, which is surprising me, but we can see some resistance coming from women also, so which is quite worried for me from my point of view and for my situation. But it's full inclusion, but yes, there are resistance, definitely.
Thank you for your question and your answers as well. So I am told that I'm sure there must be other questions, but I'm told that we have run out of time. So what we could do is collect those questions. Eventually, our organizing committee could put them together, and maybe if it's possible, we could still send it to our speakers, because I know the students would also like to hear your thoughts on these matters. So I hope we could still indulge them should the committee send any. But thank you everyone for your questions and your thoughts on the matter. I think I'm supposed to also very quickly synthesize what's been done for the past few hours with the echo and all. So, but I think maybe two letters, participation. So I think we've been hearing that for the past couple of hours, that everyone, if we really want this progress to happen for women equality, then participation is needed from everyone. And second would be, sorry, I kind of lost it. Participation and policies. So we have to put the policies together first and foremost. There must be basis for the rest of our implementation and progress. So I hope that's something that everyone somehow was able to take away. Once again, let's give our speakers a huge round of applause for giving us the time this morning. Thank you very much.
I would like to apologize, everyone. We don't have so much time to entertain a lot of questions. But at this point, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed speakers for their valuable insights and contributions for today's International Women's Day celebration. To formally recognize their participation, we will now present them with a certificate of appreciation. May we call on Ms. Jocelyn Niwane to assist us in presenting the certificates, as well as Attorney Jewel, Certificate of Appreciation is awarded to the Embassy of Commonwealth Australia, to Deputy Ambassador Dr. Moya Colette. Next is a Certificate of Appreciation and Participation to the Embassy of the Kingdom of Belgium, Mr. Fabio Pompetti, Deputy Head of Mission.
if I can say also something about Belgium, because we are still a kingdom, so we have a queen, and as you know, all our kings were male, of course. But I mean that the succession was only not for the firstborn, but for the firstborn male. Always. But now we have changed that also. So it stays with the firstborn being male or woman. And most likely our king is still quite young, but the next one will be his daughter. So we will have a queen. In some years we will have a queen in Belgium for the first time or so, but this is at a symbolic level. I think it's also very important that we have changed that mentality that only male can succeed to a very high position.
Thank you very much, sir. That's a nice news.
Certificate of Appreciation and Participation to the Embassy of the United Mexican States, Ms. Daniela Hill Sevilla, Deputy Head of Mission of the Embassy of Mexico. Once again, we extend our heartfelt appreciation to our speakers for sharing their knowledge, experience, and inspiration with us today. As we conclude this meaningful celebration, let us hear from Ms. Jocelyn Niwane, the officer in charge of the Makati Social Welfare Department, for her closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Gian. Of course, to our excellencies who have been gracious enough to come and join us this International Women's Day. Sir Fabio, Ma'am Moya, Ma'am Danielle, of course, my two friends, thank you very much. And we would like to thank the University of Makati, headed by Prof. X, and of course, VP Jewel, for allowing us to use the campus to celebrate International Women's Day. This is a first in Makati for us to be able to share with you the thoughts of our friends from the Diplomatic Corps. And we hope this will be the start of more collaboration. And of course, we would like to thank the PVSC for being with us. And most of all, on behalf of our beloved Mayor, Mayor Abby Binay Better, and of course, her Vice Mayor, Ma'am Monique Lagdameo, and the Sangguniang Pamlunsod, our congressmen who have been always supportive with us, women and men alike, our Congressman Luis Campos and Kid Peña. And of course, to my colleagues in the local government of Makati, ICRD and IRD are here with us. So thank you very much, the students who have been here. Thank you very much for sharing with us this morning's very fruitful interaction and discussion. And to our viewers, in fact, I think we have 3.5, how many? Already, as of earlier this morning, who had joined us. So I hope that, good morning to all of you out there. Thank you for watching, and we hope that all the lessons you have learned here and heard here will be something that we will keep in mind as we celebrate the whole month of March as Women's Month. So in closing, allow me to encourage all of us to use this Women's Month to amplify women's voices and champion their rights, our rights. Equality is not a favor. It is a right. It is a fundamental right for every human being, regardless of gender. Once again, happy International Women's Day, and thank you for being here today. God bless us all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Miss Joyce, for that inspiring message. Let today's celebration be a reminder that while we have made great strides, the journey towards equality continues. Each of us has a role to play in ensuring that women everywhere are empowered and uplifted. It is also a reminder that we must continue advocating for equality, inclusion, and empowerment. So before we officially close, let's capture this special moment with a group photo together with the UMak officials, City Government of Makati officials, and the Diplomatic Corps. Let's please gather in front. Everybody, please stand up for a group photo. One, two, three. Happy International Women's Day!
International Women's Day!
Another photo po with the...
One last photo for everyone.
Okay, ready?
Once again, thank you all for being part of this meaningful event. Let's continue to support, uplift, and empower women, not just today, but every day. This has been Gian, your host. Have a wonderful day and happy International Women's Day.
Thank you.